MPESA handling. So as it has been said, today we are discussing the MPESA and new privacy policy. So this policy is basically a policy that limits merchants from the access of personal data information.
Right.
Yes.
So previously, maybe you can paint us a picture, like what was it like and then what's it like now?
So currently, when you make a payment by MPESA, for example, if you use Lipan MPESA,
Right.
the merchant will receive a notification message from MPESA containing the transaction ID, the transaction, your full names, and your phone number.
Right.
So this feature has a number of shortcomings. For example, number one, some merchants usually save this information in their ERP or their CRM, and later they will broadcast their promotion and marketing messages, which is not in a policy.
Right, yeah, because I've been wondering, like, there are some times you receive some messages from guys, like, when was the last time I don't remember, joining this message, like the petting tips.
Yes.
Like, you find someone sending you premium tips, and you're like, I don't pet, right? But so how did this end up? So for me, I always claim Safaricom, like they're selling our data. So it looks like that's not them, right?
Yeah.
So it's about now. So the new feature now is.
So let me say another shortcoming. Another shortcoming which I consider more worse is when, as you have said, this merchant sell this data and information to another party. For example, as you have said, the betting company. So now this new feature, this policy, the merchant will now be receiving the transaction ID if you pay by MPESA, and they will be receiving your one name and a deducted your deducted phone number. They will not be getting a full phone number. So in that way, I think the customer's information will now be secure.
Now, we have the Collins as a developer. Do you think this affects in any way the way you guys employ or integrate MPESA as a payment gateway?
I don't think I can speak on MPESA specifically, but I can speak on like payment processing in general. So, for example, in the past, certain payment modes of payment were, let's say, for example, since MPESA made the user's phone number available, certain payment solutions were built around that. So, so for example, like certain things like Lipan and MPESA. Forget about the payment. PayPal is the one that has two steps. You put the PayPal account and then put the PayPal number and then put the account. Now, the fact that the phone number was available, the merchants could easily let me track back a bit. The usefulness of using PayPal is that in the first field, like putting the payment number, that identifies the business. And in the account, the user can, or the business can tell the user to record certain details which identify the client. So look at it from two different parties. Let's say the one who's managing both parties is Safaricom. So the PayPal number identifies the business, where the money is going to.
Yes.
And the account number you would use it to identify either the client or the client is the business or some other service, or some other way of identifying the client. So when the business gets the details of the transaction, they can both identify who the user was. So for example, some businesses want you to input the invoice number. That's where they can know when they get receiving payment, they know which invoice and whose invoice does that belong to. Now, with the use of MPESA, that because MPESA does not have a way of inputting the account, you need to figure out a possible third way of identifying the user, and that's usually using the phone number. Right. So for example, that's actually because MPESA is only one step. Actually, two if you include inputting the password, the PIN, but usually just one step. Just put the payment number, not the payment number, the MPESA till number, the amount, and the PIN, and you're done. That one, there was one extra step of manually inputting the let's say your customer ID, your invoice number. So that step adds a lot of friction. Now, with this new change where they have redacted the phone number, they have almost made it at least from just first sight, like you're looking at it for the first time. They have like made that option of identifying the user almost obsolete. So now developers now have figured a way of identifying a customer, or just revert back to using the paybill number. So in a way, it might make that method less popular for people who need to identify whose payment it is, and it might actually boost the popularity of the paybill number again. So they have to figure out how to make that process much simpler. Yeah. So
you realize that the difference between PayPal and MPESA is the PayPal is paid, right? Like there's some transaction cost from the customer. Now, do you think this is like a sneaky way Safaricom is forcing us to pay to transact with MPESA?
No, for me, I think this policy is to the benefit of the customer, because as we have said, the customer data is very important and it should be secure. So I think this policy will just be a disadvantage to the merchants, because they will now not identify the client. And for me, the greatest shortcoming that I see in this policy is where now where the merchants will not get the acknowledgement message. I mean, because they don't have this information, they will not be able to send an acknowledgement message to the client. A good example is KPLC. When we pay token, we make a prepayment, and now we expect the KPLC to send the acknowledgement message to us containing now the token. So I'm just wondering now how this will be possible when now they will not be getting full phone number to send back the message. So I'm wondering how we will be getting the token.
Well, I guess it's for the developers to figure that out.
Maybe what will happen is that you require to send a message to Safaricom. Whatever you need to send to your customer, send it to Safaricom. Then Safaricom will send to the customer. Is it like you can see what you are saying, that acknowledgement and maybe even a token? Now it will be, maybe they will require through the API, we will tell you whatever. Is there anything you want to tell the customer? Kindly send it here. And for us, we know the number as a Safaricom, so now they forward it to the customer. Just like you see, like bank payments.
Right.
you will get something like a request for OTP. You see, that OTP is not initiated by the merchant. It's not the merchant who, like the merchant, he does not even get your phone numbers and all that. He gets just a few details. But then the payment processor, in this case the banker or the card processor, has all the details and uses them to communicate with the customer. You know, like now they know your phone number, so they ask you for OTP. So maybe the Safaricom now will require KPLC to send that token to them. Then Safaricom now forwards to the customer.
Do you think this now adds like the friction to the payment system?
Not really. I think the disadvantage is smaller players.
Alright.
You see, like there are people like colleagues were saying, had already created their solution. The moment you get the phone number, the moment you do this,
you send a message.
Yeah, you do other things.
Yeah.
Now you will be required to work through the Safaricom API because previously you didn't have to work through Safaricom API. You could have a gateway that forwards the message to your server, then extract, the number, and just send it to the customer.
Yeah.
Let's say like someone who is selling betting tips.
Betting tips.
Yeah, so they just need a modem and a software that extracts the phone number and just sends back the tips to whoever was paid.
It was really weird. Like, how does he know that this number works? Could be like they just pick it from the moment you send them. They receive a payment. Of course, if you're sending payment, that's a number that works.
Yeah, they send back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
now, so, as you are saying, I think now there will be a delay in receiving, for example, those tokens. If KPLC will have to send to Safaricom, so that Safaricom can send to. I think now there will be a delay. But for the benefit of data protection, I think it is worth.
Yeah. Actually, I think Safaricom has been giving out a lot of data. That's why everyone of us is receiving a lot of political messages because all this data is somewhere,
Yeah.
And even they stopped the MPESA. The MPESA books used to have your ID number.
But they still do it.
No, there is something they removed. I think the phone number. You see, previously, the previous MPESA, you are required on that book. You would write your number, transaction code, your ID. So now, the politicians were only interested in that book. Once you get that book, they get your phone number, your ID number, your full names.
Yeah, even your sign.
Yes, and even your signature.
Yeah.
And I think
books of signatures.
Yes, they changed. Right now, if you go to the MPESA agent, I think you will not find phone number there. Like it is a transaction code.
Yeah, I think it's missing the number too.
Yeah.
Like it's just the ID and your sign.
So you can't, if you steal that book, it won't help you.
Yeah, Colin?
Just in the few minutes that passed, I've been thinking about possible solutions for how to migrate to like a new system. So the first method is relying on what I would term as push method. So in this method, this is like the foundation. So I think I'll build this one. So in this method is already kind of in play. Users already have access to this method.
Right.
If you've ever made payment for, let's say, Safaricom Home Fiber, you have actually used this method. So in this method, you use the pay bill, but used in such a way that the Safaricom already pre-fills the pay bill number and the account. So the only thing that you get is just to insert the I forgot another important detail. The paybill number has already been pre-filled. The account number, which normally if you are paying for the Safaricom home fiber, is your account ID, and then the amount of money you need to pay. So the only thing that you get is the